Do not forget, you can support the channel with a like, and you can also subscribe to be aware of the latest published videos. Thank you. We hope that here you can find the latest news, ideas, and discoveries from the scientific world.
India's Haunted Stepwells, Part L. Stepwells are centuries-old structures that are unique to India. They were born of necessity in 300 AD. India has a very erratic climate that is bone dry for most of the year. Torrential rains follow and last for weeks after this dry season. To make matters worse, India's water table is located 10 stories underground. Because of this, the Indians had to figure out a way to provide a reliable year-round water supply for drinking, washing, and irrigation. A system was needed to collect and preserve their precious rainwater. The result was the construction of 1,000s of subterranean stepwells in cities, towns, and along trade routes. These beautifully designed structures were built with flights of stairs leading down to the water for easy access. These steps, generally in the hundreds, allowed women to carry buckets down to the water level in the dry season. During the monsoon season, all or most of these steps were submerged. Over 1,000 years, these Hindu and Muslim stepwells evolved into impressive feats of engineering, architecture, and art. Their stone reliefs are incredible. They were often named for the ruler or patron who constructed them. A quarter of these philanthropists were female patrons. This is not surprising considering fetching water was and still is the domain of women in India. People of both genders and of all faiths were welcome at stepwells. For women, they became a social gathering place. They also provided a cool place to escape the heat. Most also were used as temples. Many have stone-carved deities, and the Indian people use them for ritual bathing, prayers, and offerings. Their demise. Over the last century, these stepwells have been in decline. This is the reason why many people today do not know about them. Their demise came with unregulated pumping and a prolonged drought that drastically lowered the water table. The Indian government has protected a handful of these ancient stepwells, but many more have been demolished or left to deteriorate. During the British Raj, they were deemed unhygienic and were often filled in. With the advent of centralized taps, plumbing, and storage tanks, these stepwells, in essence, became obsolete. But this left many communities bereft of an important social and religious meeting place. Today, most stepwells are in various stages of ruin. Some are used as dumps. Others are overrun with vegetation and various critters, such as snakes and bats. If they have water pools, they are stagnant. The Indian government is considering restoring more and using them as possible cisterns, which would return them to their original purpose. The fear is that these beautiful and unique examples of Indian architecture may be lost for future generations. Two stepwells that still exist in the village of Vadhavan and the other in New Delhi are both steeped in mystery and haunted tales. India's Haunted Stepwells, Part LL. A stepwell is an ancient subterranean structure that was built to allow India's citizens access to water year-round. At one time there were 1,000s of these wells in India's villages, cities, and alongside roads. Most had elaborate architecture and artistic stone reliefs. Here are two that are considered to be haunted, both having histories of people drowning. Madhavav. This stepwell is located in the village of Vadhavan in the state of Gujarat, India. It was constructed under the ruler, Karnadeva Vaghela. He was a weak ruler, and his people called him Karan Galo, meaning Galo the Insane. A statue of Galo and his wife can still be seen at Madhavav. This vav, which is still intact, is 55 meters long, 60 yards, and has 6 pavilion towers. It has 6 flights of stairs, which is the usual number. These steps go down 49.80 meters, 54 yards. According to local belief, a dangerous spirit haunts Madhavav. It is believed this spirit rises every 3 years and claims a life. His victims always drown in the well's water. This story is so prevalent that it is told in a popular folk song. Agresenki Boli. Aragsenki is a 700-year-old beautiful stepwell that still exists in New Delhi, the capital of India. It was built in the 10th century by Rajput king Anang Pal LL, the Tomar dynasty. This Boli is an excellent example of a single-flight stepwell. It has 104 steps made of red stone. At one time this well was submerged in murky water, so it was considered to be one of the most spooky haunted places in India. Today, many report feeling the presence of an invisible ghost. This ghost is said to follow people around if they quicken their pace in fear, so does the spirit quicken its pace. For years rumors have persisted that this well had several evil spirits. It is said that the well's murky black waters mesmerized or attracted vulnerable people. If a person was discouraged or depressed, it is believed this Boli hypnotized them, a power would overtake them, and they would jump into the well's waters where they died. For hundreds of years, it was believed that Boli of the unseen called people to offer their lives a sacrifice in order to raise a well's water levels. Agresenki is a protected monument by the Archaeological Survey of India, ASI. In Hindi-speaking regions these wells were referred to as Boli. In the Gujarati and Marwari languages, they are usually called Vav or Vav.